Alrighty. Now, they say that if you want to learn something, you read about it. If you want to understand something, you write about it. If you want to master something, you teach about it. And to be honest, I'm no master. No way. But here I am, trying to do something that is completely different. Trying to explore the biggest questions that we always ask ourselves, that we always think about as humans. I mean, think about it. We've all got desires. We've all got this contemplation about these big things in our head, like our direction in life, whether we're gonna make enough money, whether or not we're gonna be successful. I mean, these are the types of things. And yes, you're watching this video and I'm not a master or successful in any of those matters. However, I have decided to spark upon this journey to master this idea, to master, to master this idea of success, to figure out how exactly can we master this idea of success and how we can exactly build ourselves and develop ourselves. Why? And why why is that something that you should take from me? To be honest, I mean, there's not really much evidence to say that you should. Um, Except that I'm gonna just share some insights that I have learned from so far the books that I've been reading. Because I'm trying to practice the law of if you want to master something, you teach it. So I'm gonna share a gem of one of the books that I learned from Atomic Habits. Now, Atomic Habits, one of the four laws that it says regarding behavior change is that you make it attractive. Now think about it, like I said, the more desire we have towards something, the more likely we are going to do that action. I mean, think about it. It's like common sense. Like, if you really love something, you're more likely to be around that certain thing for a long time, as much as you want. And you get sad and you feel like this um, pain inside that you're away from that thing. So basically, that habit that you're trying to introduce, if we can make it attractive, we're more likely to continue doing it. And that goes the opposite for eliminating a bad habit. If you've got a habit that's really bothering you, then the opposite is also true. By the way, I am just sharing this idea, okay? And at the same time, this is more so a trial and error experiment for myself, because everything that I share is an experiment that I'm doing myself to figure out what exactly works and what doesn't. So back to that idea. Now, making a habit attractive. Now, I'm gonna give an example. This could be by how we think about this certain habit. We can beautify the actual image or the reward. Because think about it, our brains love to it loves to it loves to think about what we can get out from this action. What can we get from it? I mean, what's the point of doing things? Like, what's the point of going out? What's the point of watching TV? The point is, like, we want to get something from it. If it's TV, like, we want to get entertainment. If it's like hanging out with our friends, it's to socially belong and have that sense of belonging and just having that sense of relief that you're hanging out with your other friends. Um, so with regards to how we can use this as an example, um, let's take example reading. Now reading, this is personal. For example, reading is a how can we, for example, how can we make this attractive? Okay, reading. Now, they say that the biggest problem, they say that the biggest problem, they say that the biggest problem in life is not actually the problem. It's not the problem itself. It's the lack of ideas. As one of the great people, as one of the as the great people have said in the past. These are gems that we take from, lessons that they say, and they emphasize. What exactly do they mean by it? If you told me whatever problem you may have, let's say I have psychological issues, let's say I'm not really bothered, let's say I don't have money, I'm broke, I have money problems, I have family problems, I have communication problems, I have being socially awkward problems, whatever. My point is, you got problems. All right, everyone's got problems. But the problem is not the problem, but rather the lack of ideas on how to deal with that problem. That's the real big idea. That's the real big problem. So the lack of ideas. Now, using this example of how we can make reading attractive, for example, why is reading attractive? Reading is attractive because it grants you that opportunity to see those ideas, to observe those ideas, to search for those ideas. I'm talking particularly about those non-fiction books, books that successful people have written books about how they did it. They're literally giving you ideas on how they did it, principles of how they did it. Whatever books that you see about how to be a master in communication, how to master anything, psychological, financial, how to be the best at whatever. My point is, then that type of information that you just now received, for example, about reading, now becomes something in your head where you're like, wow, it's not necessarily a chore anymore. You're thinking to yourself, reading, that's actually amazing. Because now I'm going to get more ideas towards my problems. And when you get more ideas on how to deal with your problems, now you're actually getting a step closer to solving the problem. The reality is we're stuck because most of us, we don't have ideas on how to deal with it. Hey, now, you're probably thinking, why exactly is that important? Why is making habits attractive necessarily important? Because they say that the more, hold on, yes, I stopped up. The more likely, okay, let's try this third time. We got this. They say that, going through brain fog. Okay, let's work this out right now, live. Okay, so attractive, right? Making habits attractive. Habits attractive means you actually like the thing. The more you like something, the more likely you are to do something, right? You want to be around this thing that you like so much, right? So, if we can associate that, if we can connect this sense of love, this sense of attractiveness to a habit that you want to build, you're more likely going to be able to do it and repeat it. So one of the strategies that Atomic Habits have listed, for example, that I'm now sharing, and keep in mind, everything that I'm saying, I'm self-experimenting with those ideas myself to figure out whether or not these ideas are full of fluff, they're just waffle, or, can these things actually work and are they beneficial? These gems that we just pick up. There's a lot of information in today's world, and we want to pick the things that actually just help us move forward in life and just keep us consistent on that path and keep us always on that path of constantly improving. And at the same time, living that balanced life where we get to appreciate the living, where we get to appreciate every moment that's in front of us. Now, back to the attractive idea. So, if you really like something, you're more likely going to be able to do it, right? So, let's bring an example. Well, I'm going to get back because I don't really have props to demonstrate. So it's going to be some simple, boring monologue, which I get, it's not really interesting. Okay, so you like something. So then, what should you think about now? If you really like something now, let's say you want to introduce a new habit, how can we take some practical tips from this Atomic Habits book that was stating this law about making things attractive? Let's say you've got a new habit, whatever it may be. Now think of the reasons, of the benefits. If it's a good habit, think of the benefits for this habit. Think of so much reasons. Give your mind so much to actually think about. That it's actually so convinced that, you know what, I'm actually missing out if I don't do this habit. Like, think about it. You're missing out so much. You literally create this feeling in your mind where you're missing out if you don't perform that habit. And now we can do the opposite for the bad habits. Instead of making it attractive, make it unattractive. Make as much reasons as you can to actually think that this habit is just disgusting, that this habit is just not worth your time, that this habit is not going to give you any value at all. In fact, it's probably destroying you. And how much habits have we seen, literally, that we're so addicted to, we like it, and we feel such shame and stuff afterwards. Now my point is, with these, we take this information and we We use it, we customize it for our own life. We use it for our own selves. In terms of these ideas. Now, so those reasons make it so compelling. Think about it. Whatever, like you for the positive habit, the good habit, sorry, that makes you move forward and gives you value. You literally make it in such a way where it gives you, where you literally create this sense of urgency in your mind that I'm missing out if I don't do this. And the bad habits, bro, I'm not missing out. What is this? Like literally, what is this? I'm wasting my time. Are you serious? I'm not missing out on anything. What am I missing out on? You know, we can't keep getting away with bad habits. I mean, it's eventually gonna catch up to us. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. That's just the tips that I that learned from the Atomic Habits. And look, at the end of the day, I'm literally self-experimenting. That's what I'm doing. I take ideas from books, lectures, whatever it may be, even experiences from other people, and I'll try and self-experiment with it. See what actually works and what doesn't. Because knowledge isn't power, it's potential power. Application, that's where it's really powerful. And really it is. I mean, honestly, serious note, every single one of us is going through that stage where we are questioning whether or not we can improve ourselves in a certain area. And deep down, when we go to bed, we always think to ourselves, man, we can be better. And deep down, when we go to bed, we also think to ourselves, man, we've got a lot of flaws that we need to work on. And the reality is, sometimes we just don't have the ideas at the moment. We don't have those questions. As you can see, I don't have a script in my hand. Because that's how life is. Sometimes you don't get a script. I don't know exactly what to say. I'm saying this from my mind. Because sometimes that's how life is. There's no script. There's no telling me what to do in this current moment that gives me all the answers that I need. We have to search for it. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we have the glory that, sometimes we have that glory that, allows us to experience those pleasures. And then we have those downs where we realize how painful those being in those vulnerable positions are. And that's life. I mean, we take the good, stay away from the bad, and as best as we can, we're not going to be perfect. It's a journey. Every experience brings us closer. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Hopefully you do benefit, and hopefully those gems, those ideas, hopefully bring about some inspiration to do some other things. If I have made a mistake, then that's on me. It doesn't mean that there's no answers. It doesn't mean that there's no ideas. If I expressed it in the wrong way, that's on me. And that's on me. And yeah, I hope that this has actually helped. And keep in mind, this is something that is new. The more I keep practice, I know it will get better. So I know the video quality is in its stages where it's not exactly the best entertaining or educational right now, but that's okay. Patience, practice will get better. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a great day, great evening, and take care of yourselves. See you later.